What's up, all you beautiful people? Today, we are finally talking about a Marvel movie, and that movie is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Should have been called Ant-Man Quantumania, honestly, because Hope's character is not even in the movie. She barely does anything. One of the reasons I kind of wanted to start this channel initially was to talk about Marvel stuff, because Marvel has always been so exciting, because it has kind of that big overlaying universe thing that it created. You know what Marvel's kind of known for: Endgame and Infinity War, the Avengers movies, all that beautiful stuff. And all I've done is a couple of Avatar movies and HBO's The Last of Us. So we're finally getting back to movies. So it's been a little while. I'm excited though, because this year's supposed to have a very, very nice slate of movies coming out. We'll get back to it. We'll get the things going, but we finally get to do a Marvel movie. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is the first one. I got some thoughts about this movie. Do a little backstory and a little bit of build up for this, because Marvel's been slacking. I think we all know this. I mean, it's hard to put out anything so beautiful and amazing and spectacular like the Marvel Cinematic Universe has done over the last decade. After you release Infinity War and Endgame and have such a perfect finish to everything, they've been a bit more subpar than I would have liked them to be. You know, I would think we just hold them to such a high standard. They have to do something so amazing to really blow us out of the water. And all of Phase 4 was very lackluster to me. I know they doubled down onto the TV show aspect, which I'm not about, because I really think that Marvel movies belong in the movie theater. They need to have giant, big budgets to make these movies look good. The TV shows, the TV shows are fine. Some of them are bad. I don't know. You just can't get the same budget and the same feel out of a TV show. And it's been kind of sad for me to see, because I love Marvel so much. And even their movies have been subpar, except for Spider-Man No Way Home. That was probably one of my favorite movies of all time, not gonna lie. I might just do a review on that movie separately, because I loved it so much. So that's all of Phase 4 leading up till now. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, way too long of a title, is the first movie of Phase 5. Again, this thing has a lot of high hopes and a lot of things that people are expecting out of this movie that already gives it really high expectations to live up to. It didn't meet those expectations for me. Now, spoiler free, so if you don't want to get spoiled for Ant-Man Quantumania, get out of here, go watch the movie, go check it out in theaters, come back here, check it out, see my whole actual review. But for here, we're going to do a little bit of a spoiler free section. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is a fine movie. There are amazing laughs, there are amazing visuals, there are amazing scenes, there are amazing performances, but the movie as a whole is very There's certain actors that I don't feel like needed to be in this movie. I don't feel like there's certain things that excited me like I wanted out of a Marvel movie. With all that being said, it's not that I didn't enjoy it. I did have a good time watching this movie, and I would go see it again. In fact, I'm gonna need to see it again to kind of reaffirm my opinions on it. To say the least, this movie felt like a 2.5 hour movie, but it was 2 hours and 5 minutes. So if that tells you anything, Marvel movies are supposed to be fun and supposed to be a good time. And there's supposed to be something that you're there enjoying, and time's supposed to be flying by. I didn't feel like it happened in this movie. You know what movie time did feel like it was flying by in? Avatar 2, The Way of Water. And that movie's 3 hours and fucking whatever minutes. I had a good time watching it, but it's not knocking my socks off like I'm really wanting Marvel to do. And I'll get into that in the spoiler section. All in all, I enjoyed this movie. It wasn't bad, wasn't great, but that's kind of how I'm feeling about it. So, into the spoiler section. I'll do a very brief overview. I'm not going to do an in-depth of the whole thing like I kind of did with my first Avatar video, and I have been doing with all the Last of Us episodes. Last of Us episodes are a little bit easier because they're shorter in their episodes. But this is a whole 2-hour feature film, so we're going to crunch this down. It has a pretty straightforward plot, if I'm going to be honest. It is kind of Ant-Man get sucked down into the quantum realm, and they got to get out. And it's really is that simple. It's not that convoluted and crazy. The visuals and how this movie looks is something else. Like, I think that's what carries it, other than Jonathan Majors and Jonathan Majors and Paul Rudd, who steal the show. Hopefully, I mean, it's the big bad guy and the main character, and they did their job. But like I said at the beginning, Evangeline Lilly does nothing. Michael Douglas is fine. Michelle Pfeiffer, I thought she was pretty good too. Catherine Newton, I think she did a good job acting, but her character, I don't think I was a fan. They are trying to make her out to be some, righteous, amazing person who's trying to help people, who is just shitting on her dad for basically retiring and enjoying his life and writing a book and relaxing. And she's like, fuck you, you're not helping anybody, you're not doing anything anymore. And she's out here getting arrested. And everybody else in the movie is all trying to help her and praise her for getting arrested and doing all these rebellious things because her dad did that back in the day. But I just feel bad for Scott. She's just trying to have his daughter be better. And everybody's just shitting on him. I'm like, dude, give this man a break. Like, he probably has major PTSD. He's having a hard time going through all this crazy shit that he did. So it's just her character I don't like. I actually think that Catherine Newton did a very good job playing the character that she was given, if I'm going to be honest. This movie is one of the more beautiful Marvel movies I think that I've seen. And I was listening to another review. I really got to stop doing this before I create my own reviews because I don't want to get other opinions mixed in with mine, but I'm just so used to doing that. I haven't had a YouTube channel for 2 months. So I'm so used to watching reviews before I even go in and see the movie, spoiler-free review stuff. And I was watching another review and they were talking about how the new universe that they're introducing, which is the quantum realm in this, doesn't feel very exciting and new and interesting. And I completely disagree. I think the quantum realm is fucking awesome. There's just so much to look at. I think you could rewatch this movie several times just to look at what's in the background and what they've created and how it looks. It's so much different than anything else we've seen because it's not a different planet or it's not a different city. It's a different universe. Everything doesn't behave the way that things behave in our known universe that we have in Marvel and stuff like that. So there's very weird things. They have these slug horses that are horrifying looking. They have these Cyclops guys that shoot beams out of their head. Everything's all very floaty and weird and very trippy looking. I love it. I thought it looked great. Jonathan Majors, man, am I so excited to see more of this guy. God damn, does he kill it. It really gets me excited because I'm excited to see Jonathan Majors more in the MCU and see what he does and how they're going to expand the whole Kang the Conqueror thing with all of his variants and all that, because Kang dies in this, the Kang that they fight at least. I was kind of thinking that he was going to get out and become like kind of the big Kang bad, but it looks like they're going to just be fighting all the variants of Kang now for the Phase 5 thing, because he's supposed to be the new Thanos and all that. Jonathan Majors, man, that dude, he's a rising star. I mean, I guess he's already there. He's in a fucking top tier Marvel movie. I'm pretty excited to see him in Creed 3, so we get to see Killmonger versus Kang the Conqueror. That'll be pretty dope. Paul Rudd is just charismatic as always, and just doing the damn Paul Rudd thing. Like I said, Evangeline Lilly is barely in the movie. I think the reason why this might not be my favorite Ant-Man movie is because I think Ant-Man belongs in a smaller story. It's very crazy and trippy to see him thrown in this weird Quantumania universe. He's just so funny in San Francisco doing his thing that he does. And he doesn't even have his crew. He doesn't have Michael Pena or T.I. or the fucking Polka Dot Man from Suicide Squad. And those guys, his little crew made those movies so funny. And it's kind of weird to just have them cast aside. I mean, I guess he's got his whole family thing now because he's got the grown-up kid. He's got Michelle Pfeiffer back. Evangeline Lilly's fully like his girl and all that. I guess it makes sense to kind of move on from that. I just enjoyed them so much. It sucks to not see them in here anymore. So like I was saying, with it being the start of Phase 5 and kind of the introduction to get us into this new journey that we're going to be going on in the MCU for the entire universe. Like, it's not just a small single story in this. They're clearly trying to set things up, and it shows in the post-credit scenes when they show more Kangs. It's fine. You know, I was hoping that they would introduce a little bit more, maybe have a little bit more things coming from in and out. I guess they have a post-credits Loki scene too. So the actual post-credit scene, there's the mid-credit scene where they just show a bunch of variants of Kang. And then there's the post-credit scene where they have Loki and Owen Wilson, forgot that character's name, finding a Kang variant. And he's up on stage showing off some technology, but his name's Victor. So I wonder if Kang's maybe going to be a version of Victor Van Doom. So that should be interesting. I don't know for sure. This movie, it's hilarious still. Like they're throwing so many jokes at you. It's what Ant-Man does, and it's kind of its thing. It's kind of what it's known for, and Paul Rudd really carries all that. I don't think too many other people do too much funny stuff. I really want Marvel movies to have more stakes sometimes. Like, people should die. This is the third movie of the Ant-Man series. Like, somebody should die. I don't know. That's just me. Marvel doesn't really do that stuff. I had a pretty good time watching this movie. I would say I would probably give it a solid 7 out of 10. I know that's kind of what the reviews have been coming out, and that's kind of what people have been saying, and I know everybody's been kind of on the same train that Marvel needs to kind of step it up a little bit, but I don't know how they can, because they have such a high bar. It's hard to follow that up and match it, you know? It's not that simple of a thing. And I know they're trying here, but all in all, I did enjoy this movie. I had a good time. I would probably see it again. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I thought it was a slightly above average movie. I'm really hoping, you know, we have Guardians 3 coming out in May. I'm really hoping that that can kind of bring a little life back into Marvel. It's James Gunn's final send, so that's gonna be kind of bittersweet. They're editing the trailer like something was really gonna go down, like some people will die, and like I was just saying, I want there to be some stakes, so it might be kind of exciting if something happens. So I'm hoping that can kind of bring it back up and get me another movie that's really excites me, another Marvel product that really excites me, because the last thing that did that was Spider-Man, and I mean, I guess that wasn't that long ago. Was that like December 2021? Yeah, probably. I don't know. It's long enough with how much shit they released. So I'm hoping that Guardians will kind of rejuvenate us and get us kind of back on track. I know we're doing a lot of catching up from COVID stuff, and I think that's finally where we're getting here, is finally kind of the reset. I know Ant-Man didn't kind of break that plane. I think Guardians will, and I think all the COVID stuff is finally getting all caught up. And that's kind of what we were dealing with, because, you know, they had to reschedule a bunch of shows and a bunch of movies and kind of change their whole plot line and do re-recordings, you know, and everything. You know, the excuse everybody has over the last few years is some COVID bullshit. I'm thinking Marvel's hopefully gonna bring it back here with Guardians. Not that it's bad, it's just not the Marvel amazingness that I'm so in love with. And I think all in all, Ant-Man was a fine movie. I'm excited for the future. You know, I think we still got things going on. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And if you want to, give me a like and subscribe.